She says, so I'm halfway through the recent debate between Trent Horn and atheist PineCreek on the resurrection. Now notice what she says. PineCreek quoted Mike Licona and William Lane Craig to back up his skepticism. So with friends like these, who needs enemies?
This is Mike Licona from Insight 2020, October 2020. And this is on the topic of firsthand accounts.
Listen to what he says.
And which leads to the synoptic.
He is an atheist. He's quoting Mike Licona, a conservative Christian, in a debate whether Jesus rose from the dead. Who's he quoting? Mike Licona, a Christian. Listen, the atheist is to refute or deny that Jesus rose from the dead. Listen.
Problem. Quoting Mike Licona, and I tell you, I love Mike Licona. Let's really listen to this story, and you'll get
I love Mike Licona. I tell you, I love Mike Licona. You hearing it?
Sense of why a lot of what you read in the Gospels should not be trusted.
Wow.
Let's say 5 of us are at a restaurant, we're having dinner, but the police officers get it back and they see there's still one-to-one correspondence, in many cases, word for word in our translation of what was said and done. The police officer, all the more, is going to be suspicious that we have colluded with one another. But there's still more. Because it's not just 20 minutes later that we're writing these translations down.
And he's quoting Mike Licona, by the way. This is Mike Licona. He's quoting Mike Licona. Listen.
It's decades later, 30, 40 or more years later, that we're recalling these things, word for word translated. Now the police officer is rightly going to know that we worked with one another on this. This is all Mike Licona, Christian Mike Licona speaking.
See?
With the Gospels, you've got Jesus mainly speaking in Aramaic. It's been translated into Greek. It's almost word for word and reported at a minimum of 20 years later. And just like Mike Licona gives in this narrative, that one is rightly to be suspicious of the account, we should be suspicious of the account of the Gospels. Now, I ask you again, if you answered that...
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he just said? He used Mike Licona to justify being suspicious of the gospel accounts. Okay? Now watch him quote William Lane Craig. These are our scholars today, folks. This is why I say, do not look to these scholars today. Look for those men and women that finished the race and died with integrity and are glorified in the presence of Jesus Christ, because they cannot disappoint you and shatter your heart.